Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to talk about video games and our lives. As usual, I'm your host, Kaden Bear Lane, and joining me, of course, is the godfather of the debate himself, Jonah Gomez. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I unfortunately lost the bet, so
dear.
Caden, this is for you. Here, let me get up on this just a little bit.
The ASMR.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the Rost. You're very good looking. I'm not very attractive.
I appreciate that, Jonah, but you having to be Rost from Horizon Zero Dawn is not really the worst thing. But
Horizon Zero Dawn?
You don't remember the character Rost?
Have you played Horizon Zero Dawn?
I don't remember that clearly.
Rest
I
in
have
peace.
no idea who that is.
Well,
Aloy's mentor, the guy that raised Aloy.
That's right.
Spoilers.
Real,
it's bittersweet.
Real
Jonah,
memorable character.
I wish I had lost the bet. We were betting on whether or not Silksong would show up, and it didn't. Will it come out in the 12-month period that Xbox said it will? I don't know.
I wish you lost the bet too.
Yeah. Joining me also is our man in Australia, the Saucy Aussie, Stephen Beaumont. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good. The weather's absolutely terrible here. It goes between hot and 30 degrees Celsius down to like just miserable and raining. So, yeah.
Intense. And of course, we are rejoined this week by Wes, Mr. Shakedown Bates. How you doing, man?
What's that, Caden? I couldn't hear you. My hearing aid fell out, and if I tried to reach down to get it, my cane would slip and I'll fall and break my hip.
Did you find any interesting video game trivia on the floor when you fell and broke your hip?
Yes, despite being a rather aged gamer, which was made clear in the last podcast, I did manage to pull some video game trivia, which might be appropriate given the subject matter and the year. But I'm going to go into a couple of video game firsts that you guys might be interested in. So, first video game double jump ever in a video game called Dragon Buster, which was a Namco arcade game from 1984.
Whoa, never heard of it.
Me neither. The first parry system in a video game was in Samurai Showdown 2. Obviously, parry systems started in fighting games and continue to carry on in fighting games, and then have spread out since then. Two firsts from Pac-Man. The first video game power-up was from Pac-Man with power pellets.
Wow.
And the first video game cutscene also from Pac-Man.
Oh, crazy.
The first video game to officially recognize headshots was Virtua Cop in 1994.
About cops, of course.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
The first video game QuickTime event was Dragon's Lair from 1983. Although some people dispute that and say that those weren't true QuickTime events because it didn't really give you a prompt on the screen. Okay. And a lot of people actually say it's Die Hard Arcade from 1996.
Interesting.
The first officially recognized New Game Plus, although a lot of people consider it to be Chrono Trigger, was actually Ghosts and Goblins from 1985.
Oh, that makes sense.
Kind of. You've just got to run it back. That's barely a New Game Plus.
It's still New Game Plus, officially recognized as far as I could find. The first-person shooter, Maze Wars from 1974.
Oh, Maze Wars.
And the first video game boss fight was from a game called D&D, which was a Dungeons and Dragons inspired role-playing game in 1975 on the Plato system.
The Plato.
You know what the boss was?
A golden dragon, I think.
Ooh, cool. And gold dragons are supposed to be good. They're metallic dragons. Something's not right here. Well, that's very interesting to know that there was a first-person shooter in 1974. I'm gonna have to look up what that looks like.
I don't think you'll be very impressed, but
Yeah.
but it was there.
I bet you it's got amazing movement.
Yeah. Wall dashes, sliding, all that kind of
that stuff.
Aim down sights.
Absolutely.
Slide
Cool.
canceling.
Well, thanks for the facts as always, Wes. I hoped you all stopped by the Game Awards and picked up your Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton because it's time for the icebreaker. Our icebreaker this week is just Game Awards hot takes. Let me hear it, boys. You got anything locked and loaded, Steven?
Oh my god!
Not really. I was at work, unfortunately, so I was following everyone in the Discords like rabble. So I was gleaning little bits of information.
Sure.
Probably the only thing I would shout out, like obviously a lot of people saying like XC3 for music. I personally thought that Plague Tale stood out a little bit more musically than God of War has so far. And that's nothing on my taste in music or the quality of the music. It's just that they literally like would just pump music right into you in Plague Tale. Like it would go from like no sound to just like 100. So maybe like, that's like, when you win the Academy Award for editing just because you did the most editing. Yeah. So again, it's nothing on my taste. And probably the only other thing is like I didn't love all of the nominees in the Indie Awards. Same. And I was sort of talking about how it's almost like you need to split that into like 3D indie and 2D indie or something like that because it's such a chasm to broach. And obviously, Vampire Survivors probably should have taken that one based on how much it was played.
Absolutely. And I agree with both points. I was so upset that Stray won that award over Vampire Survivors. I was upset that Vampire Survivors didn't get more nominations for just like indie awards in general.
That probably should have been on the GOTY list because of it was a massive zeitgeist. Just like Among Us. Among Us got some votes like last year, even though it didn't come out last year and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it just felt like it was that game.
But I think the music was one of like the biggest like issues that I had with the show is like you had Metal Hellsinger, which obviously not everyone connects with metal music, but it has that doom style and it has like actual vocals. And when Doom
really? I haven't heard it.
No, it's got like from a bunch of like very popular vocalists. That was like the main selling point for the game.
Oh wait, was this the one where you were telling me that Callan Quinn is on there and stuff?
No, that was Sonic Frontiers, which should have been nominated for best music because that game. Oh my god, that game's got really good music.
Wait, have you been playing Sonic Frontiers?
I haven't been. I've just been listening to the music.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I was hoping that game was going to come up later on, when we talk about our GOTY list.
No, that's not it. But I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Metal Hellsinger.
Oh, Metal Hellsinger. The music is really good, and I understand that God of War has like a really talented songwriter that wrote or composer who wrote all the music and stuff. But I mean, when they were playing the music side by side, I couldn't tell the difference between Elden Ring, God of War, and A Plague Tale. It all just blended into being the same thing. And then Xenoblade Chronicles popped up, and you get a little bit of that. Yeah, you get the crazy flute guy. That dude was awesome. The flute guy.
He's the perfect example of why Xenoblade should have won.
That, and then just like the electric guitar that you're getting in there, like it was enough of a difference from the other like fantasy style music.
Yeah, Flute Champ is obviously coming in 2023, the successor to Trombone Champ, based on the popularity of Flute Guy at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
No doubt,
of course,
no doubt.
It's just gonna be his face on like an old Xbox 360 case.
That guy had like such great energy though. Like, did you see him at the end? Like,
it gave me like
yeah.
Jack
And he was
Black
like,
vibes.
"Ah!" He was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I can't really tell how much of a hot take this is because at the same time, it both feels like everybody loves and nobody likes Stray. But I just like, I don't get it. I feel like the game is not replayable. There's no like, the game's very linear. Like if you play it through over again, you're probably going to be super bored because you're going to be doing the same exact thing you did the first time. Like I just feel like everybody lost their crap about that game because you're playing a cat. Like if you just replace the cat, then it's obviously just a okay, fine game. And it being like the ambassador of like indies for the game of the year lineup really frustrated me. And I also just in general get really frustrated with the Game Awards that it's like, they do just put one indie game like in the Game of the Year nominees as if most indie games are not of high enough caliber to be considered.
Especially when and I've heard other people talk about it, but like especially when Plague Tale and both Stray stand out a lot in that Game of the Year award like category, where it's like they were good, but they would like even like someone else was saying something about like if you look at the aggregates, usually it should be in that top 10. Those 5 should be somewhere in there, and they're nowhere near it because like the quality of indies was just so high this year.
Yeah, it's insane. Like in my opinion, besides like Elden Ring and God of War, like all the other nominees probably should have been indie games. Like the amount of indies this year that just knocked it out of the park is insane. Like this has been like the year of indies.
And also to note that Halo Infinite missed last year, so it technically should have been eligible, but obviously it has no zeitgeist. Had a bad roadmap after release and all that sort of stuff. So,
but I think one of the things you have to keep in mind is that like you guys are coming at it. I feel like from like a very we all are from like a specific viewpoint, which is mostly like US based. I know not you necessarily, Steven, but a lot of the input was fed into like worldwide and globally. And so all of the input for the games was, it was based on like multiple outlets from all over the world. And so
which at the end of the day means that it's going to be the most played games will get into the top 5.
Right.
Because outlets are only going to play the most played games, and then if they've got extra people on staff, they can play some indies as well.
Yeah,
but they'll only play the most played.
Yeah. So it makes sense to me, even though I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. It makes sense to me that that's the pool that ends up, in the end in the Game of the Year nominees.
Yeah, 100%.
My question, I got a question for you guys. Just does Stray and A Plague Tale, they're put on there as indie games. Do those feel like indie games to you though?
Whoa, is Plague Tale supposed to be an indie game?
That
doesn't make any sense.
Tale isn't.
Plague Tale's not indie.
Okay.
Plague Tale isn't.
But does Stray feel like an indie? I understand it was like published by Annapurna, which is like an indie publisher.
Indie.
Yeah. But it also had like a lot of support from PlayStation 2. So like
Well, I really feel like we could sit here and talk for half an hour about what an indie game means and not come to a conclusion. So I don't know how much 100%. Point there is pursuing this conversation. But
I feel like this is a topic that's come up in probably like 4 different podcasts that I've listened to in the last 2 weeks about what constitutes an indie game. And there's no necessarily right answer to that.
And that like I was trying to think of analogies when I was talking to Kevin Tongue Surgery, and like I was kind of thinking, okay, well there's imprints on major labels that are classified as indie because like there's no oversight and like they have to then sort of semi-self-publish, but then they've still got the backing of the big publisher, so it's like it's this gray area of like being an indie artist under a massive corporation as a music artist. But like it's just messy. It's just so messy.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any super hot takes you want to throw out there, Wes? We really didn't hear from you yet.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't talked about any announcements at all. I guess we want hot takes. Street Fighter 6, I think that the game looks cool. I really don't like the designs for your build your own character. They look generic as hell, and I think it just looks weird. I think it just looks bad for the build a character. I'm trying to see. Final Fantasy 16. Okay, this might be a hot take. I think the game looks awesome, but I'm worried that they're like, it's like way too serious, and it's all up its own butt about that. And I'm worried that the game is going to lose a lot of that Final Fantasy charm that I love about Final Fantasy games, because it's just so like edgy and dark. That's and funny. You know, that's basically what I'm getting from these trailers. That's
hilarious, because it seems like they're finally fully committed again to the PS3 360 era of like, we need to get the West by being, you know, edgy. And it's hilarious. I haven't watched anything about Final Fantasy, but when you're saying it sounds too serious, that actually makes me more interested, because I've never caught the wave of Final Fantasy. I've bought 10 of the games at different points, multiple copies of each, and I've just never just gotten it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't love 5, but I did love 15. I did love 15, but I really loved, what I did like about it was the fact that it embraced the history of the series in a lot of ways, with the music and you know, a lot of the quests you could go into, and I really did appreciate that about it. It just felt like it recognized its own history. This game, I'm just worried it's just too like hardcore action, and I just want to make sure that it's going to have those kind of quirky, you know, kind of heartwarming, weird moments that I love about Final Fantasy 2. And maybe it will, you know, but that's just not what I'm getting out the trailers. So,
if you could right now have like a monkey's paw and wish that Final Fantasy 16 could be rewritten by the writing team that's writing Forspoken, would you do it?
I haven't played Forspoken. I've only heard like that
every time Clive in Final Fantasy 16 throws a fireball at an enemy, he goes, "Eat shit, loser!" Like,
he might do that. I don't know. You know.
Wow.
We just haven't seen it yet. So, but we'll all find out in June when it drops.
Yeah, I personally am looking forward to it and like the tone, but that's probably just from too many years.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna play it. I just you know, I'm worried about the direction based on what I've seen, just about it losing a little something that I love about the series. Did you how do you feel about Remnant 2, Caden?
Oh, I'm so hyped. Like, if I had to pick like one announcement I'm the most hyped for, it's probably Remnant 2. Like, I don't know what it is about the first game, but it just clicked with me like super hard, and I've played that game a ton. I think I've beaten it like 3 times across like PS4 and PC, playing with different people. And just being able to get a sequel at that game to refine like where it could be improved from the first one, just, you know, better graphics, more gear variety, more enemy variety, more interesting locales. Yeah, I'm super hyped for that, and never thought that game would ever get a sequel. So
yeah. When that got announced, I immediately thought of you, and I was like, "Oh, yeah. Caden's in his happy place right now."
I think we all might have, because I was like, "Oh, it's that one like third-person Dark Souls shooter game that Caden was really into." And I was like, "Oh, what is it called? What is it called?" And it popped up. I was like, "That's it! I knew it was Remnant 2. It's gonna be Remnant 2." And then all I could picture was you like, "Yeah, buddy,
yeah, buddy." That's me.
Well, I'm just curious, like, what is everybody's most hype announcement?
Judas.
From Judas?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It looks very BioShock.
It looks very BioShock, and it looks very Ken Levine, and I am 100% in for it, dude. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, it does look really interesting. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested in that too, for sure. Did you guys check out Banisher's Ghost of New Eden at all?
No, I don't think I've heard of that.
I was driving like for like the first like half of the show, so I didn't get to watch too many of the trailers.
Okay, yeah, this one it was like a guy sitting at a table, and he was like holding hands with a woman sitting across from him in this cabin, and there was this woman walking back and forth.
I do remember that now.
And then it turned out like the woman he was holding hands with was like his wife or something, but she was a ghost. And it's like it just gave like extreme Witcher vibes, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks really interesting."
It gave like a very short like in-engine gameplay. It was like literally like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was just at the very end. Yeah.
That one definitely looks interesting.
That one caught my attention quite a bit. And I was trying to look. Oh, what did you guys think of Armored Core 6?
I got way more hyped about this after the fact because, like everyone else, I thought that it was going to be Elden Ring DLC announcement, and then when I realized it was Armored Core, I was like, no. But I've been watching, Dark Souls or From Software centric YouTube channels, and based on marketing materials from who's the publisher? Is it Bandai Namco?
Bandai Namco, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like this is gonna be they literally use the term in the marketing material that this is a reimagining and that it's incorporating gameplay elements from the Souls games. So people are like, okay, this is gonna be a sci-fi Souls-like with mechs, and now I'm like, whoa, I'm way more excited about this. And I think it came out that Miyazaki from the Steam page, Miyazaki initially started development on this game and then passed it over to
he passed it on to another guy
from Sekiro. So I'm actually really excited for this game now, but yeah, at the time I was like, no, I wanted Elden Ring. Yeah, cool. Well, I think that'll about wrap it up for our Game Awards hot takes. And Jonah, do you want to take over? I guess we won't be having a debate this week, but we have results from last week.
We do have results from last week, and it's funny because last week I was like, oh, we've never had a tie. Well, it turns out that we had a tie, and Old Man West decided to bring his friends. Fighting the young generation, we had an 8-8 tie with Mateo representing 1997 versus our Saucy Stephen Beaumont representing 2017 in the year of games, and we had a tie 8-8.
Good games.
Right. Congratulations, Steven. I hope you know, actually, I voted for Steven in that vote. So, Old Man West picked 2017. So
turned his back on his own kind.
Good year. It is a good year.
Yeah. Well, I guess Mateo will be pleased to know that 1997 apparently holds up.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll move right along into our next segment. All right, it is time, my friends. Our individual top 5 games of the year. Who cares what Jeff Keighley has to say? Who cares about the Game Awards? It's time for the Great Game Debate top 5. So this will be a round robin, each just going up from 5 to 1. I suppose if anyone says a game that's on your list, just say everything you have to say about it, and then just mention it when it gets to its place in your list. But with that, let's kick it off. Wes, why don't you start us off with your number 5 pick, and we'll go clockwise.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that my number 5 is a game that will not appear on anybody else's list here.
Oh, snap.
I don't believe anybody else here played the game. But my number 5 is Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice.
So, I know that a lot of people were kind of lukewarm on Horizon, and there wasn't nearly as much interest in this game for a lot of people as for others. But I really loved Horizon, the first Horizon game. It was my game of the year over Breath of the Wild in 2017. And I thought that they did a phenomenal job on this game, kind of taking everything that was great from the first game and really listening to the criticism about the traversal in that game, and the melee combat and the mission design and some of that kind of stuff. And they just basically took all those criticisms and they just wiped them out. They improved everything for Horizon Forbidden West. It has a really so many side missions. I didn't even finish all the side missions in the game. I got the platinum, but there's just so much there. The map is huge. They overhauled the melee fighting. There's a whole melee skill tree now, directly devoted just to melee fighting. You have a glider now that was a great addition. They should have probably had in the first game, but they just kind of took everything and made it better in this game. And I had a great time with it. I got the platinum trophy on it in about 55 hours. And
nice.
I thought the story was really, really cool. Kind of the direction that they took it, and I'm really interested to see where it goes next. And they just announced the Burning Shores DLC.
Yeah,
it's coming soon. I'm looking forward to the future of the series. So
you got one question. You sort of semi-answered it in both regards, but one of my bigger gripes, other than the traversal in the first one, was probably it felt a little bit long in the tooth. Like it went a little bit wide, and I just never really liked the post-apocalyptic tribal nature of it. I loved that last 5 hours or 10 hours or whatever it was. Do you feel like it had a better direction than the first game?
I think that the game still suffers from maybe a little bit of bloat, just in terms of a lot of the extra stuff that you can do that's not necessarily necessary. But if you just stick to the main campaign, I think that it's got really good pacing, actually. And I think, there's no real need to do any of the extra stuff. It's just like how much you're enjoying the game, how much do you want to invest in the game, and do you want to hunt all the machines? Do you want to fill out your Pokedex, so to speak, and for killing all these machines or overriding all these machines and
it's interesting talking about the length, because what did you say, you platinum in about 50, 60 hours or something like that?
Yeah, about 50, 55.
I'm sitting here thinking about my 150 hour long Elden Ring playthrough, and I'm like, 60 hours, pretty breezy, nice.
Yeah. There's still, like I said, there's still stuff that I didn't do, missions that I hadn't finished, but yeah, you can run through it all in 60 hours or so and do pretty much everything. But the map is just enormous. It's just absolutely huge. The nice thing is that it does change things with the traversal, so you can get from place to place a lot easier and a lot faster.
That's nice that a platinum isn't 100%ing that game too.
Yeah, I like that about the first game as well. It's
and
kind of the same.
Probably the best thing that, even though you're saying the map is huge, and that gives me the Ubisoft shudder a little bit, but the fact that the combat is so diverse in all the mechs that you're fighting, they always change up how you're meant to approach them, is really cool, because obviously you just can't do the exact same. You do, obviously, the from the first game, I don't know the second game, but those tear arrows were just OP as anything, on most enemies, but you still have to get underneath them and shoot their their gas tanks and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I remember doing the loop of Assassin's Creed Origins. I did all of just opened up all of the maps and was like, that was a beautiful world to look around, and I'm like, but the gameplay was just, I didn't care at all. So I just turned it off straight after I got to Giza. I left Giza till last and just turned the game off.
Yeah, it had some new weapons also that weren't in the first game, and some new elemental stuff as well.
Are there additional melee weapons, or is the melee still all the spear?
I'm trying to remember. It's still mainly the spear, but
they added a shield.
I think
your shield parry or something with
your glider, I think, acts as a shield.
Cool. And is the melee primarily for fighting humans, or is it?
No, you can use it to fight enemies as well. Because what you could do, you could get this ability that basically builds up a charge on your spear that like allows you to hit the enemies with this dark energy that will like stick on them, and then if you shoot that, it causes an explosion.
Oh,
nice!
That's
cool. Dark eco.
So there is some like there is some advantages to doing some melee strikes amidst just shooting things.
Well, it's certainly cool to see the game get a shout out on your list. It was really depressing during the Game Awards to see it nominated for so many things and not win a single award. And I think
I thought it could have got art direction based on just how beautiful the game is.
Yeah, someone today was talking about, they were showing environment screenshots comparing Forspoken and Horizon, which is cross-gen, and Forspoken's next-gen only, and like Horizon just blows it out of the water. But I think like myself, like a lot of other people probably didn't play it because I don't have a PS5 and I don't want to compromise the experience on PlayStation, which probably is a dumb thing. But I'm extremely excited still to play the game when it eventually, probably inevitably comes to PC.
Yeah.
And the dominoes are finally falling. Like Returnal's coming to PC. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm sure Demon's Souls will be on PC. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm sure Forbidden West will be on PC, and then I can finally play it. So
I think you would really like it because a lot of the bigger monster encounters that you fight, or bigger machine encounters, are just crazy ass boss fights.
I mean, and I love the first game, and beat it and played the DLC and everything, and it gives me those Monster Hunter vibes. Like the fights against the robots are so good, and like probably some of my favorite combat in gaming.
In the end game, there's like tempered level monsters to take on too, so you can fight like harder versions of the base ones. So pretty good.
Nice.
Super quick non sequitur before we move on. You just made me think about Returnal coming to PC, and I'm just excited to watch someone play as Samus in Returnal.
Oh yes, that 100% will happen. That's gonna be so cool.
Well, I know why Horizon Forbidden West didn't get like the art.
It got Elden Ringed.
Well, no, it didn't. It didn't win Best Art Direction because Aloy had a little bit of hair on her face.
No, don't do that. Don't bring that in here. Don't put that evil on me, Jonah.
Go put the straw hat on and get back.
Get
back in your spot, incel.
Yeah, that discourse was insane. Moving on, going clockwise, I guess that brings it to myself. This is kind of a wild last-minute little pick because I haven't even finished the game, but I'm just feeling this strongly about it. My number 5 is a little indie game that just came out called Chained Echoes.
Literally 2 days ago.
I've somehow already put 20 hours into it.
You put 20 hours into the game already?
I am hooked.
My gosh.
Okay, I can.
That's crazy.
It's not on my list only because I have put like 5 hours into the game. You guys know me.
I shouldn't be on my list because
I don't really care too much for pixel art turn-based JRPGs, and this game does so much different from the JRPG turn-based style that it's like really sucking me in. It's really good. I'll let Caden talk about his game of the year.
Well, this game's just like, at least in my like isolated sphere of awareness, is becoming like a little phenomenon. Like I think Wes originally was the person who put it on my radar, and then I kept seeing more and more, and I was like, oh, okay, oh, and then finally comes out, amazing. Somehow Jonah's hooked and has bought it. 2 of my brothers are playing it, and one of my best friends is playing it. Wow. So I know like 5 people that are playing it right now.
That's really good.
So I really hope it makes a big enough splash that it's going to sell really well. But yeah, the elevator pitch for this game is kind of like how you remember SNES era JRPGs like Chrono Trigger in your mind, while bringing like modern quality of life conveniences to the gameplay. There's autosaves. You can save wherever you want in the game. Combat has like a double and quadruple speed up. If you die, there's like no consequence. You just either load back to your autosave before the battle started, or you retry the battle and have a chance to change your battle formation. There's just like no pushback. And it just like, it's even written really well. Like, I'm really into the story. I think I even am enjoying the story more than like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which,
wow.
Yeah, like so far, I mean, 20 hours in, it's holding up so far. But with Xenoblade Chronicles, it was just like, it's got that like Saturday morning cartoon anime vibe where it feels like there aren't really any stakes because it kind of feels like all the characters are like children in the backyard, like just, play fighting. But Chained Echoes like has this, it's very, very beautiful, colorful pixel art. It feels like it's like a game for kids, but then the story starts rolling and it's dealing with like, genocide and essentially magical nuclear war. And, an era of peace is coming to an end by all of the kingdoms that are in a peace treaty plotting against each other. And, people sabotaging the peace by assassinating people. And it almost has this like Final Fantasy 12 vibe to it, but somehow is like more coherent and interesting than the plot of that game. There's so much going on politically, but it's really interesting, and I feel like it's somehow let me keep up with it. And one of the things the game does that I think helps with that is it has these little vignettes for the individual characters. Like the way the game starts out is you kind of play a very short section with just each of the individual characters to get to know who they are before they all meet up. And then there's parts in the story where they get separated, and then you have like vignettes with individual combinations of 2 or 3 of the party members doing their own thing.
Hey, Caden, you've never played Final Fantasy VI, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they took that from that game.
Yeah. I've heard
it was really funny when you were saying like about like how heavy the story is, and you just like listed like 2 incredible RPG tropes right at the start, like genocide. And
did I mention there are
war.
mechs? first JRPG ever to have mechs in it, I think. Chained Echoes.
Yeah, wow.
Are there like double text or triple text between characters or anything like that?
Probably. But yeah, I think if you have any love for JRPGs or turn-based systems, this is the game for you. And just to really sell it, it's not just like your normal turn-based system. You have like a tag mechanic where you eventually get 8 party members and you pair them with each other, and you can like tag them out in battle. And the main mechanic is this thing called the overdrive meter, and it starts off with like no effect, and using moves builds up the meter till you get to a green section of the meter. And during the green section of the meter, you take less damage and your moves cost half as much resource to use. So you want to stay in that green, but if you keep using your most powerful abilities and things, you'll eventually go past green into red, and then enemies start doing double damage to you. And during battle, each of the character's moves fall into categories. It's just like physical attack, magical attack, debuff, and utility. And the overdrive meter changes over the course of battle, where you need to use a move of one of those 4 categories to cool it down. So it creates this like a level of dynamism where you have to adapt to the overdrive meter to manage it, to kind of be the most efficient in battle and not end up, what's the word I'm looking for?
Overusing
you don't
overdriving.
Overdrive. You don't overdrive the overdrive to take double damage and get your ass kicked. And the game is, the normal mode is almost like a hard mode. It is pretty hard, but there's a lot of really cool difficulty settings, and it's not just like easy, normal, and hard. There's like, you can adjust how aggressive the enemies are, how big the overdrive meter is, to make managing it easier. And so you can tweak it to your liking if you don't want that much pushback. But Chained Echoes.
It's nice too with like managing the overdrive, because when you're going through your menus, like abilities that are highlighted yellow are the ones that you're going to want to use to
they make it
reduce
easy.
it. Or if you don't have one, you can just go into a block and you'll take half damage during that turn, and it'll lower very minorly. It'll lower the overdrive meter.
Yeah,
but
so there's always something you can do to avoid overheating. That's the phrase I was looking for, overheating.
Wait.
But yeah, I just love it. It's just a triple decker sandwich of crap I love. So
yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Number 5, Steven.
Yeah, so I'll try not to be go too hard on this one because we have talked about it. It actually just jumped into my 5th just before we were recording. It was mainly based on vibes. I got 4 games that are all in that sort of like 8 range that I just can't quite nut out what is better. But based on vibes, I just felt no, I've got to give this a shout out. It deserves it. So sorry to my number 6 now, but my number 5 is Tinykin. It's just
nice.
Okay.
The main reason I want to give it the shout out is I consider it is the SteamWorld Dig 2 of this year. You're always having a good you're always having a good time. You know what I mean? It's like it may not be the perfect game, but you're just always having a good time, and it's just short and succinct, and it just gets exactly what it wants you to do. And if that doesn't help with the ideas going forward with Nintendo and Pikmin, because they streamline incredible stuff with Pikmin, and it just makes so much sense. Like, yeah, it's just great. I don't need to go into it because we have talked about it a fair bit before on pitches and stuff. But yeah, Tinykin is just awesome. Great art style. Great use of whatever the budget was for this indie. And yeah, like my only gripes are probably a couple too many collectibles. But other than that, it's just awesome. You don't have to get all the collectibles; it's just extras. But yeah, it's you could probably finish the game in like 4 hours if you just do the main quest. Like, it's chill.
The movement and exploration in the game are just awesome,
right?
Because
really good.
It's really simple, but you move really quickly, and you
move very quick.
Yeah, and the floating mechanic is great. The exploration is great. It's probably my favorite like little person in a big world game I've ever played. It's just they do it such a good job, and the puzzles are just they're not overly obtuse, and they're always fun to solve.
Yeah,
it's just fun. It's just a fun game.
I watched like the Easy Allies do a stream of it, and what appealed to me the most about it is it feels like the levels have like that kind of like unraveling a puzzle box experience to them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's just like that's it. It's exactly what you want to do in those style of games is like open a door or like go rifle through someone's cupboard kind of thing, and that's what you get to sort of do, and gives it levolution in that way.
What Tinykin makes me think of is that I feel like this year more than like any other year in recent memory, there's like more games than ever that I feel like could be in like my top 5 goaties that I just haven't had the chance to play. Like it's insane.
We'll definitely get to that in our special mentions because I've got some missed opportunities for sure.
So I could easily see Tinykin. Yeah,
I've been waiting to hear. You've been holding out on me.
I've been holding out on you. Number 5? This is Steven. This is a game that you and I have played a lot of together. And
hell yeah.
And
respect.
My number 5 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Oh! Wow, that did get me. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be the other.
Yeah, no,
wow. Hell yeah!
It is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and man, I have absolutely loved actually diving into a CCG and just like playing it with you and Zach and like another friend and just like building decks, sitting there, listening to a podcast, just going through, reading through the cards that I have and stuff. And it's tedious, but the nice thing I liked about it was it's like, okay, well, I'm going to play a couple rounds of ranked. Oh, look, I got the silver rank. This is cool. And it's like, you've unlocked a bunch of these daily challenges. Okay, here's like 6,000, 10,000 gems. Okay, cool. Now I can go open card packs. I didn't have to spend any money to get like 1,000 cards in like the first like 3-4 hours of playing.
And the good thing is, one thing I don't know about Hearthstone, but like when you break down cards and get like the core materials, like making like ultra rare cards isn't that expensive. Like you can just by playing for a couple days, you can be like, oh, I love this one ultra rare card. Obviously, I'm not going to draw it in a random pack because it's just so rare, but you can make it for like 4 ultra rare gems or whatever it is. And you can just get that by just breaking down the ones you're not using. So you can make the deck you want fairly quickly. Probably within a week, you could probably make the deck that you want.
Yeah, and it's super easy to just play pretty casually if you're sitting at your PC. Hanging out on Discord.
Never get to gold rank because all you do is just watch the other person win in one move.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I have one question about this game. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that like cards in Yu-Gi-Oh are like evergreen. There's not like a standard rotation like
no, there
Magic.
is.
Oh, there is.
There is, yeah. You can get some like tournament banned cards and play them. They have all of the cards that have ever been printed for Yu-Gi-Oh, but like,
well, that's what I meant. Yeah, so like in the normal mode that most players play, do you just have access to literally every card that's ever been printed except for ones that have been banned?
Most people play standard rules, so the banned ones will be banned, but you can play open and you can play like classic. So if you just want to play old school Yu-Gi-Oh without all the pendulums and X, Y, Z and all that sort of stuff.
Well, my question is like, how do they help onboard new players? Because the benefit of like a standard rotation of Magic is there's
awesome single player.
Okay.
They always have a great single player. You play through all of the show. Like you play the first show, the second show, the third show, the fifth show, all that sort of stuff. So you can just learn all of the
mechanics as you go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that sounds dope.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh?
Nope, that's it. Short and sweet.
All right. That brings us to our first number 4 from Wes. Also, shout out to us all having different picks. Amazing.
Yeah, so far. That ends now. My number 4 is Tiny Kid.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. I just thought no one would bring it. I thought, oh no, it's just gonna miss because
you gotta represent it.
I love that game. I had such a great time. It was every year there's something that kind of like comes out of the blue that I just am not expecting to play or I've never heard of, and it just captures my attention so much, and that was Tiny Kid for me this year.
Shout out to Indies.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Sweet. My number 4, I don't know if any of you have played this. It's Signalis. I'm sure you've heard of it.
It's on my Switch. I haven't started it yet.
It's on Game Pass. It's short, check it out.
I've downloaded it. It's on my Xbox,
Yeah. Signalis is much like Chained Echoes, kind of like a modern version of an old school genre with like modern convenience and quality of life in it. But the game's super cool. It's essentially, the way that I think of it and that I've heard a lot of other people describe it that I agree with is it essentially is the gameplay of old school Resident Evil with the vibes of Silent Hill. But it's also sci-fi. Like you're playing
it's sci-fi.
You're playing an android. You're exploring an abandoned mining facility on, a planet in a different star system, and the enemies are mostly corrupt androids that have lost their minds. Because in this game, the androids have like a neural network that the mind of a real human is like grafted onto, and instead of having like a built like computer personality or something. And their grafted human minds are degrading and turning them into insane monsters. But game just has an amazing this really cool trend of like PS1 style graphics becoming a style, like pixel art became a style. That's what this game does. And it's got the fixed camera angle, but the environments are fully 3-dimensional. So when you do a puzzle in the environment, the camera kind of like goes down into the level and zooms in on the puzzle in first person.
That's cool.
And it does a great job of like the old school survival horror where you're having to manage your inventory between keys for puzzles and ammo and guns. And enemies don't stay dead. You have to burn their bodies, but you don't have enough resources to burn everybody in the game. So that's also another thing. It's like, do I bring flares to burn bodies, and which bodies do I burn to make like the easiest path backwards for myself? You know.
So is everything static in like Resident Evil? Like, yeah, if you burn that body, nothing will come back, or like will still things change in that environment, or will it be like safe for the rest of the game?
Yeah, any bodies you burn, that's it. So if you kill all the enemies in a room and burn all the bodies, that room's going to be safe indefinitely. So there is like a mind game of which rooms do I make safe that I'm going to be backtracking through the most.
Always. Yeah.
You pitched this a couple last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think I did pitch it. Yeah.
Couple weeks ago.
So you've heard me talk about it.
The big thing, I don't know if I wasn't on. I don't think I was on the episode. Maybe. I want to ask is, when you say Resident Evil, does it also have? Okay, I've finished the game. Am I booting it straight back up again and like?
That's probably the one place where this game falls short currently, and probably why it doesn't rank higher on my GOTY list. There's not like a new game plus, and there's no rewards for like beating the game quickly. Like there's no infinite weapons or costumes or anything like that. And the game does have alternate endings, but the way you get them is so ridiculous and obscure. I'm not even going to bother explaining it. So you could replay it for the alternate endings, but I just don't think they add enough to make it worth it. You're much better off just beating the game once and then watching the alternate endings on YouTube, probably.
It's a great one and done. You're saying it's a great one and done.
It just goes down super easy. I was like addicted to it and beat it in 2 sittings. It's like a 10 hour game, possibly longer depending on your play style. And the game also has a really, really cool twist about the 2/3 mark. So let that entice you as well. But I think this game is like the perfect entry point to like classic survival horror if you've never played it before. So yeah, Signalis, check it out.
Nice. All right. My number 4. It wasn't a surprise to me at the start of the year. It came in as my number 1 right at the start of the year. And that is Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh, interesting.
Just a diehard Pokemon fan. Draw distance, muddy textures, all that sort of stuff is true. But the gameplay was awesome, really evolved. It's just awesome to go and try and fight and capture a level 60 Pokemon when you've got like level 10 Pokemon and stuff. It's just super fun. The resource management is awesome. Like obviously you can craft Pokeballs on the go, and while you're just running around, you're like, okay, I'm going here. Oh, there's an ore deposit. Just go throw your Pokemon out there, and they get that ore deposit. Go throw it at that tree, and they get the berries, and then you just make the Pokeball as you're going, sort of thing. So you don't have to return to base. And even though it made it worse for me, because you really should return and like hand in your research points, because then your research levels up, and then you don't have to worry about certain things. I didn't quite understand the research at first. I thought you had to just tick off all the boxes on each Pokemon, and then they would be complete. But you don't have to do that. You only have to like catch 5 Pokemon, make it use Leaf Storm 3 times, and do this, and then that Pokedex is complete. But I like filled in the entire Pokedex entry for like 1 Pokemon before I'd send it back, and then they'd be like, yeah, here's your research points. But the cool thing is, doesn't matter what you're doing, you're always getting more XP and resources and stuff, and it just keeps feeding that. And the boss battles, really good. Like
nice.
The second last main boss battle was really good, and if you collect a whole Pokedex, then you get to fight Arceus and catch Arceus and stuff. And that was tough. And luckily it has a second phase checkpoint, because I don't think I could do it in one run. It was brutally hard. Yeah.
All right, Pokemon bring the difficulty. Not that we really have to get into it, but have you also at least started Scarlet?
No, because of my break, I just don't have the money. And I said last time that I splurged on Ragnarok, but no, my son and I are going to play it for Christmas. That's going to be our Christmas present together. So we get to play that together, and that's going to be awesome. Hopefully, we'll get to trade, and we'll complete the Pokedex together. Hopefully,
that's cool. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Got Pokemon on the list, and that leaves us with Jonas, number 4.
So, whilst talking, I've changed my list around a little bit. My number 4 is going to be Vampire Survivors.
Nice.
While I didn't complete it while it was in early access, I put so much time. I love that, like,
it counts.
My 4 and 5 are both like games that I would just sit down and listen to a podcast or listen to some music and just
comfort place, man.
Hang out and just play these games early on in the year. So yeah, it's Vampire Survivors. It's kind of like an idle game. You're just moving around, getting the upgrades, leveling up.
Everything but moving is idle.
And
that's the thing. It's it seems like an idle game, and I said that to Jonas so many times. Oh, this looks like Bloons, or it looks like any sort of tower defense game or an idle game, cookie clicker, all those sort of things. But when you're actually playing it, and the first thing is, for the first 15 or so minutes, you've got to make your build, and that's like really interesting, and how you go about it, and where you go, and how. Knowing that every minute is when you'll get a boss enemy that can drop a chest and all that sort of stuff, and then every 5 minutes a bigger thing will happen, and just knowing when to hit those beats, because I didn't get it for a while, like when those beats would happen. I was just like not paying attention and just walking around like, oh man, this is so slow. But once you get some new upgrades, those permanent upgrades, it's just there's actually there's a whole game, and then probably the back half is a bit idle, but yeah.
And it's just fun trying to figure out how to manipulate the RNG in the game,
for sure.
To create different builds, or to manipulate how your character is going to fire this weapon or any of the other weapons, or try and manipulate the enemies into walking into like traps that you're setting with your weapons and stuff. So I thought it was like a cool, interesting take. And now that I'm like watching TikToks and stuff, there's so many mobile games that are just completely ripping it off. And it's kind of sad, but it's cool that they've had this really big, great success.
100%.
Well, now it's on mobile, so it can compete head-to-head with its ripoffs.
Exactly. Make sure you get Vampire Survivor on the Google Play Store, not Survivor Vampire. But I think I put like 6 or 8 hours into this and got a few runs, and I wasn't expecting like the permanent progression, which is really nice, like unlocking new weapons, unlocking new characters, and then spending the currency you're earning to get like power-ups for like all your characters, like increasing their HP and damage and all that kind of thing. And the fusion weapons are so cool. What you're talking about with the manipulating the RNG, it's like when you got one more space left for something you do for a fusion weapon, and you pick up something else, you can just choose to ditch it until you get that one thing. That. Great game.
I didn't look any of that stuff up, so I was just like, I just kept on just mixing and matching, and I also didn't realize because it says it in a loading screen or something, but it's like you can only get the ultimate weapons from boss drops. So I didn't quite understand that, because I was like, I've got these 2 things maxed out, and I did it the next round, and then I got the ultimate weapon, but I didn't realize you had to get it from a chest. And sometimes you just miss those enemies. It just randomly just happens, The worst thing is there's one ability, it takes ages to get the max thing for it, because of how it works, is the pentagram, because it just deletes all the stuff on the screen. And so like you'll just miss out on chests, because you're just like going to get the chest and it deletes it. It's like,
yeah, that sucks. That's got a DLC coming out soon.
No, it did come out. They announced it, nice. And then it came out the next day, and it was only $2, and they added so much stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Shout out to Vampire Survivors. Yeah, good stuff.
Great game. All right, Wes, our first number 3 pick.
All right, this is going to be a real unpopular pick amidst the rest of the group because everybody here hates, but me apparently hates beat 'em ups. But my number 3 is Shredder's Revenge.
Nice.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. So, this game was just like peak nostalgia for me. Like I was such a huge Ninja Turtles fan growing up, particularly the cartoon series and the Archie comics. So it was really great for me to kind of share that love of Ninja Turtles with my daughter. And she just got like obsessive with Ninja Turtles after we played this game together. So we co-opted it. We played it in small chunks. I think we played through the whole thing and make like 4 sittings. The game is like 3 to 4 hours long. It's like 17 stages or something like that. But it was really fun playing the game, and they just pull in everything from the old cartoons. There's so many references, you know, the neutrinos and Vernon and like random villains that you thought you'd never see again. They pull in either as boss fights or as references or characters in the background or whatever. And it's just the soundtrack to this game is so good. They just nailed it. It is such a good soundtrack. If you haven't listened to it, and you like, you know, just really strong like hype beat 'em up soundtracks. I mean, it's just awesome. The pixel art is gorgeous. All the turtles have their own kind of style and unique moves. There's like assists in the game that you can do. There's team up attacks in the game that you can do. There's unlockable characters in the game, and once you play through it, you can unlock extra characters. I wouldn't be surprised if there was DLC that added more playable characters to the game. And it was just a really good time. I mean, is this a game that you're gonna like spend hours and hours and hours and hours of your life playing? Probably not. You know, you'll probably play it once or maybe twice, but you'll have a great time when you play through it. And they just did a great job with the game. I can't think of how they would make a classic Turtles beat 'em up and do a better job with it than they did.
That's
wonderful.
Cool.
They could do it. They should do it to the 2003 show. That's my show, because I love the art style. But yeah, no, I agree 100% in the fact that my son really enjoyed playing it with me. And there's one of the newest styles. I think it's like Return of Ninja Turtles or something like that. The newest cartoon is on. There's a movie on Netflix, and he went and watched that.
Right, of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That one. The animation of that movie is phenomenal. Like actually, like really great.
I
so
hate
that was cool.
Design, but the animation is peak. Yeah.
Sure. I really like it. But yeah, like my only gripes with it were that the progression system felt almost negligible. It was like, let's add something that, you know, gets more newer fans to maybe continue playing, but it was just like, okay, I get an extra health chunk or whatever. It just didn't quite wrap me, in. The side quests were the exact same. Like, it was just like, here you go, have 500 XP for finding things that you're going to find in the stage anyway. And the auto-scroller stages, because I was playing as Raph, I can't hit any flying enemy because I just don't know where I'm meant to be on the screen, how close I'm meant to be. I just literally couldn't hit a single flying enemy ever in those stages. I just had to just suck up lives, just going through it. I don't know what was going on.
You just have to have your kid keep reviving you.
Pretty much.
Man, I've got the hiccups, so we'll see how this goes. Do you think? I just had this idea. Do you think it would be weird for a beat 'em up game to have like lanes on the screen? Like, you know, if you split the stage into like
don't think that's weird. I don't think that's weird, because the amount of times that that's the weird thing about beat 'em ups in general, is that you will miss just because you're just off by a couple pixels like of that lane. It is just a thing that's just it happens all the time in beat 'em ups, and it's just one thing that I don't think it increases your immersion. It just decreases your fun, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, game seems super fun. I just love this like trend we're having of, you know, retro kind of game genres being redone. Excuse me. Like, you know, we've got Shredder's Revenge, Chain Echoes, Signalis, just like bringing back these classic genres. All right, my hiccups seem to have momentarily abated. So my number 3 pick is Tunic, one I came to really late this year, because I think it came out closer to the beginning of the year. I almost thought it maybe was
Came
a
out in March.
2021 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hit up Xbox Game Pass on PC to play Plague Tale Requiem, and since I had it, I was just looking through and I was like, let me check out Tunic. And this is a game I kind of feel bad about because it looked right up my alley, but it kind of got like weirdly lukewarm reviews. So I was like, whatever. And then I play it and it's actually like phenomenal. So I guess I gotta trust my gut more.
I thought it reviewed really well.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I think you must have been listening to the naysayers like me,
Yeah.
because it actually has like a 90 on Switch,
Whoa.
I think it is, and it has like
All
an
right.
88 like everywhere else.
Go figure.
Yeah.
I blame it on Isla Hink from Easy Allies. I think she said it had like bad combat, so I was like, never mind. Of course, everybody does think it has bad combat, which is its one low point. But I could really just skip discussion on this game because almost everything about this game is a spoiler. If you love puzzle games, if you love games with twists, if you love classic like top-down Zelda, Tunic is there for you, baby. It's on Xbox. Play it. It's in my top 5 game of the year. It's amazing. Play Tunic.
I have some minor qualms with this game, just about kind of the last third of it. But I still had a really good time playing it. And I love the soundtrack. It's super chill. Probably one of my favorite soundtracks of the year. And it's just a really fun game to explore and just figure out like the shopkeeper in this game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wild.
But craziest shopkeeper I've ever seen in a video game.
This game is for you if you don't like games that hold your hand. Like you have to figure out everything for yourself in this game, and there's no direction. And unraveling the world like that is really satisfying. The combat, I think it comes down to taste, but it seems like most people think the combat is bad and too hard. But I will say, although no one ever listens to you when you explain to them that there's difficulty options in the game. So if you just don't like the combat and you want to just experience the story of the game world, just turn down the difficulty. But
the only issue with that is you need to decipher a language, which is my only gripe, is that I wish that as you collect more and more parts of the manual, which I think is a great concept, I just think the execution's a smidgen off. I just wish it was like the Al-Bhed language in Final Fantasy X, that you just slightly decipher it properly so that you can read it.
I disagree.
Yeah, I know you disagree. You D&D nerd.
Yeah.
God.
What if I told you there's an ending, but then there's a real ending, but then there's like a real ending that involves an augmented reality game that took the community hand deciphering the manual and having like coding knowledge to figure out. I mean, that kind of stuff is just so cool to me. I love it.
It's cool, but it's also frustrating because it keeps regular players from seeing that stuff. That people that can't afford to devote their lives to that kind of thing.
Well, my answer to that, Wes, is quit being a normie and get good.
Yeah, it's so hard coming from someone that loves the Souls games and they are very obtuse with their secrets, but because they're so out there, all the secrets are so out there that it never feels like I'm bashing my head against the wall. And I guess I just should have been looking up guides or something for Tunic to not bash my head against the wall. I don't know what it is, but I just don't. I'm just an isometric game hater, so it's just hard for me to get there.
All I know is it's better than Stray. Moving along. Number 3, Steven.
So obviously I talked about this last week, so I'm just, it's my IOD. My indie game of the year is Case of the Golden Idol. I've never had so much fun playing a co-op experience. It's not co-op, but I just played it with my wife, and it was just phenomenal.
I've heard a lot of people say that though. Like, it is a really fun game to sit down with your significant other and just play.
Yeah, and shout out Pucho from the One Up podcast. He took my recommendation while he's in the hospital with his wife in labor, and he Yeah, he played through it as well, and he loved it. So
that's cool.
I felt vindicated. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely on my list of games I wish I could have played this year. It might be on my go-to list if I played them, but yeah, looks cool. All right, Jonah, number 3.
So I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this one, and it kicked off one of the games on my list, but it is gonna be Fortnite No Build.
Nice.
And if you're upset with it like not coming out this year, you can consider Fortnite Chapter 4 as coming out this year because it is now running in Unreal Engine 5.1.
Yeah, there's no rules. There's no rules. Who cares?
Fortnite Season 3 chapter.
Ongoing game.
How many chapters? Whatever it was. Or is
Final
it
Fantasy
is it the
14
other way
gets
around?
nominated for something every year. So whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the no build mode, just getting rid of like the one thing that was keeping me away from playing this game.
Yeah.
And then them just adding so much more past it, having a quest system, having like adding all these crazy vehicles, adding cool ass anime characters, and then like just going all in on adding more and more like original characters that are cell shaded, and adding licensed characters, and just like Fortnite being the
one of the hilarious things is that as well with those quests, like when you would go do a quest, if you were able to complete your quests, you'd just end up being in like the final circle. You're just like, hey, I've done all these quests. Then you look, it's like, oh, there's 10 people left. All right, I better run to the circle. It was just, it was awesome.
Yeah, I also surely have not played it as much as Jonah, but I notoriously don't usually play multiplayer games at all. But Fortnite is one of the few that's actually hooked me, and then I still continue to play. And the no build mode really did push it over the edge. We all have to admit that we're plebeians who don't have the brain cells to use the build, but it's so much more accessible and fun.
I don't know how to use the guns, let alone the builds.
The thing that I give Fortnite credit for is just the variety of like off the wall insane things there are to do besides actually playing the objective. Like most of the time when I get on with my buddy and we play Fortnite, we don't even try to win. We're just like fishing a shark out of the water and jet skiing on land with a monster shark, or like, shooting each other across the map out of a cannon, and, catching air on a tornado. And it's just absolutely wild. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Wes, your number 2.
You guys are really going to like this. It's probably going to be on all of our lists because I know how much you guys love it. It's Stray.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Have we only had one game, which was Tinykin? Yeah, that was a double up.
Yeah, so far. So many games this year.
Yeah. Huh. So I know that, you guys don't care for this game, and that's fine. This game came out at a time when I was struggling badly with kind of gaming burnout, and I was really having a hard time trying to get into anything. And I just needed a game that was chill and, relaxing, that I could just kind of like sink into. And it was the perfect experience for that. And the level design in this game is so well done. It's so vertical. The verticality of this game is great. Being a cat, you can jump up to different places, and you have to figure out how to get from one location down on the street up and onto the top of this high rise, and there's no really set defined path for you to get there, or it's not always really obvious on how to do that. And so just exploring around, there's certainly areas that have enemies in the game at certain points of the game, but the majority of the game is just wandering around exploring. And they did a really good job of world building in this game. The story that you play through, and you learn about kind of like what happened to civilization and how this like underground city was built, and the kind of all the background behind it, and the story of your little drone friend that flies around with you. It's all, I thought, really well done. And it was the perfect game at the perfect time for me, and I had a really great time going through it. It was another one that I played through kind of with my daughter while
Nice.
she was sitting there, and we both really had a good time with it. I really like the soundtrack too, the synth soundtrack. I love synth music, and it really spoke to me that way as well. And so I know that it catches a lot of flack, and that it's not like a hardcore gamer's game. It's a more of a broad appeal type of video game, but I really enjoyed it. So.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, my stray hate is just a meme. Don't listen. My opinion's invalid because I haven't even played the game. And I take back what I said earlier because I ranked Tunic number 3 and Wes ranked it number 2, so Stray is officially better than Tunic. But yeah. Moving on, my number 2, I think like Chained Echoes, I have to owe this one to Wes. Infernax.
Oh
man,
yeah.
This game, dude, another retro revival. The pitch for this game is if Castlevania 2 was actually good. And you know, kind of like what you're talking about with Stray, this game just hit me at the right time. It was at the beginning of the year when I was in the process of moving, and my wife and I had a really bizarre, difficult move because she had to spend a month training at the head office for her job. And the training period was like from the middle of one month to the middle of the next month. But we had to move like, you know, from the beginning of one month to the beginning of another month. So we were like away from each other for like a month there, living in different places while she was training. And Infernax just hit me, baby, right before Elden Ring. And you know, I went into this game just thinking, oh, this looks cool. It's cheap. I'll give it a shot, to just becoming completely absorbed into the game. It's one of those games you're like, Steven was talking about earlier, the Resident Evil, where it's just like you beat the game and then it's like one more go, one more go. And when you have an understanding of how the game works, you can beat it very quickly. There's alternate endings. There's unlockable characters with different fighting styles. And what I really have to praise this game for the most is its morality system, because when most games I feel like present you with a choice, it's, you know, it's skin deep and it really doesn't matter. You're going to end up at the same place at the end of the game, no matter what you pick. But your choices really do matter in this game. Essentially, like you always have like a good and an evil choice, and you can go down the path of pure evil or pure good. And either option results in a completely different end game with a separate final dungeon, with separate final boss.
Interesting.
You get separate gear for your character, and you get separate like spells and powers for your character, depending on if you go good or evil. It's really, really impressive, and it's super fun for replays. But yeah, just freaking love Infernax. They just put out a free update where you can play a stranger from the future who wields like a chainsaw and a shotgun. So
it's got a really
burn
cool.
The town, flood the town.
What?
Yeah.
I said burn the town or flood the town.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. What were you saying, Wes?
I was gonna say it's got really cool side quests and really cool dynamic encounters with the side quests. So you'll just be walking along, and all of a sudden, like, you're like, a villager will run by and it's like, look out for the wave of zombies, and then all of a sudden, like, you'll get like stuck into this encounter with all these zombies, or you know, you'll have to make a decision out of the blue that you totally weren't expecting to make when you just run into, you'll be going back across an area that you've already been through like 4 times, and all of a sudden something will happen that triggers some, you know, part of a side quest that you hadn't experienced before. And I thought that was really cool about that game.
Also, the game's just like metal as hell. Like the soundtrack is by, in part by that YouTuber. I think his YouTube handle is Family Jewels. He does a lot of like metal covers of video game music. Yeah, he did like half the songs in the game. So the soundtrack's killer. And a lot of the like boss kills and things are accentuated by these like
super
full
gory
art panels, super detailed and gory. Like you'll smash a dude in the face with a mace, and there's like a screen that comes up, and you know, his just like face is shattered and his teeth are going everywhere, and
very berserk.
Yeah.
Most enemies have like either their intestines out or they have a face where their intestines should be. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, Infernax, check it out. Number 2, Steven.
My number 2 is a little. I haven't finished it. Is probably the biggest thing to say, but I knew it was gonna hit somewhere on my list, and just the quality of it makes it that high. It's just in a different kind of league to my other sort of picks in some respects, but at the same time, I feel like if it doesn't hit my entire soul by the second half of it, I think Case of the Golden Idol could actually be my number 2, but it's God of War Ragnarok. And nice. It's just I'm loving it. Gameplay's phenomenal, obviously. The puzzles, yeah, they're pretty good. Like there's been a couple decent ones, but nothing like nothing mind-blowing as of yet in puzzles. It's usually like, oh yeah, I figured that out pretty quickly. Yeah. And also the NPCs tell you so freaking quickly that it's just annoying. But yeah, other than that, game looks amazing. I'm playing it on the wholly ungodly PS4 base PS4, and it still runs great. It just obviously slow load times is the biggest thing.
You're running around the tree for like 10 minutes before the next area loads.
I just look at the ground. I just look at the ground, and then it loads right in front of you. And I just put down, look at my phone for a minute, and that's about it. But yeah, so my biggest thing is it's just like I've said it on the Discord, but it feels a bit like Arkham Knight in that it's like it's not doing anything like so wholly different from Arkham City that it just, it's more of the same, which is great, amazing quality, but then it's also a bit more plotting. Like there's so many more characters than the really tight 18, so it just doesn't quite hit the same. And I'm just looking at the back of people's heads and noticing that that's how they're using their narrative device. That they're never really having to animate that many mouth flaps or anything, like because people are just running along and either they're behind you or in front of you. So when you do turn around and look at them, they're just sort of just not T-posing, but they're sort of just standing there and sort of just talking to no one in particular. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the veneer is just slightly peeling, and like obviously climbing. Just linear climbing is just not fun anymore. Like they've mitigated it a lot with the grapple shot being the Chains of Olympus, but it's just a little bit of sheen, just not as much on there. But it's still a phenomenal game. I think it's an easy 9 out of 10. Maybe I'll go up, maybe we'll go down. But it's in that range. So yeah, that's why it's my number 2.
I'm going to sit here and agree with Steven on most points. You are you're like at the peak of the roller coaster. You just haven't gone over it yet at the point that you're at. I haven't gotten to go wee! Yeah, you haven't gotten to go wee yet. But God of War Ragnarok is my number 2 as well.
Oh, snap. Okay, yeah. Perfect.
So...
But you have the opposite feeling that you said you think it's better than 18 in all ways, yeah?
With where the story goes, I like where it goes. Like some of the twists that they put in the game, I feel are more exciting than some of the twists that were in 18. I like a lot more of the NPC character development and you just getting attached to the NPCs more than you really did. Like, I like that they flesh out Brock and Sindri and their relationship and their relationship with you, and just seeing how like the different NPCs interact between other NPCs in the different realms, and how some are more respectful to others, and seeing the different dynamics that they do when they pair you up with some of them on like some of the adventures and stuff. And I like that aspect of it. And then just like the variations in the combat and new things that they've put in, I've really enjoyed. And the traversal, I like that there is new ways of traversing. Like, I understand it's a little like not too crazy different, but like having the dog sled instead of just rowing the boat everywhere, I think that was like a fun addition. Or like the like one of the quests where you're having to watch where the dogs are looking, and that's where you're supposed to go. I thought that was kind of a cool take on it. And yeah, I think that it's just like you said, it's nothing like groundbreaking new, but it is just adding a little bit more to what's already good.
Yep.
Yeah, adding that Salt Bay, a little bit of extra salt to that perfectly cooked steak.
Yeah.
Yep, sure.
Well, it's on my pile of games I'm hoping to play one day on PC from Sony. So I'll get there one day. Any thoughts on God of War, Wes?
Yeah, God of War is, since we're moving on to number 1, God of War Ragnarok is my game of the year.
All right.
I was waiting to like say my piece about it, but I can say it. This will be like a triple.
Yeah.
Like
perfect transition.
Steven to Jonah to me.
Yeah.
I should have the platinum on this game tonight.
Oh, okay.
I have like 2 of the Muspelheim Trials. Muspelheim Trials, spoiler, they make a return to this game. It's an optional thing you can
do. I hate them.
I have like 2 of those, and I'm not saying I love doing those. That's why they're like at the one of the last things that I have to do. Yeah. But I'm so close to the end of this of getting the platinum of this game. I just have a couple of like collectibles and whatever. But I like this game. I really like God of War 2018 a lot. I like this game so much more. I just think like the characters are so much more fleshed out and so much better developed. The character development and growth of Kratos is just, it's astounding to see like where he was from the last game to where he comes to this game. And it's almost like I'm struggling about whether or not this becomes a top 10 game of all time for me.
Yeah.
It's just really, really good. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time just like sinking into the world, and the variation in the environments, and the environmental design and the exploration, the combat, the enemy design, it's all just outstanding. And I've had more fun with this game, playing this game this year, than anything else that I played this year easily. There's no way that I could not have this be my game of the year. It's just so good, and the story is awesome. It's funny. This game is so funny.
Oh, like, yeah.
The one-liners, and Kratos is just an amazing straight man, and there's just I love the boss fight. There's some like insanely good boss fights in this game as well. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this game.
I do wish we could respond whenever the side characters say, do you want to do this? Or, oh, we could do this if you'd like to, or a variation of that. And you just unmute is like one of my only gripes in those, because they're also talkative and you can't even choose to respond.
Some of the dialogue feels like they had given you dialogue options in the game. And
yeah,
they
but
probably
you just don't
took
have
it out. Yeah, I think they just took it out because they didn't like having that aspect or that mechanic in the game. Because it does feel like there should be dialogue options.
Because there's just dead air straight after they ask a question. Like, it's a serious question.
There's a couple instances of things during the game where I feel like they just do something like once, and it's like, oh, this feels like this was like a whole mechanic in the game that just kind of got stripped out.
That's still my one biggest gripe of 18 is after the first boulder fight, literally Kratos like does like a Super Saiyan charge and heals his HP. And yet you cannot heal your HP, like, in the game. It's just like, why? Why even do it? Don't even mention it. Like,
well, you do have your was it Valor? I think.
Yeah. But I just mean like
basically does that.
If you're a god and you have the opportunity to heal yourself, why can I not do it outside of combat anyway? Like. Yeah. I just feel like they should have just re-healed people whenever you're outside of combat. So where's your barometer? Are you now a Ragnarok fan, or is 18 still king for you?
No, I like Ragnarok better.
Oh wow, interesting.
I do. I like the cast of this game a lot more. I like the setup to the game a lot more. Yeah, I mean, they just kind of threw the kitchen sink at it, and I really appreciated that. And one of my biggest gripes about 2018 was like I think you only got to go to like 3 realms or something like that in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And in this game, they just expand it so much more, and you get to see so much more. And the side quests in this game, I think, are like really, really good and so much better. And
I would. The only thing I would push back on that is I would say that there's one big side quest per world that is really, really good. That's got like, story and grandeur, and then there's just side quests. Like, I know a lot of people have said amazing things about the side quests, and I'd say there's always one really good one per world, and then the rest of them are just video game side quests, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. And what they do with the regular video game side quests is they do flesh out a little extra story, a little more.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lore and stuff.
There's more to it than it just being, oh, I need to go collect all these 4 pages for this book or whatever.
It sounds bad though, but I like if I'm talking to a ghost, skip. I'm sorry.
I
don't care.
There are there's certainly levels of side quests in this game. It's like that are like there's some fetch quest stuff in here.
But those top tier ones are really good.
They are, yeah, and there are a few more peppered in, I think, past the point where you're at right now.
Okay.
That you have to look forward to.
Sweet.
But anyway, I really liked it.
Like jellyfish, really cool. Big turtle, really cool. That stuff, awesome.
I think the biggest difference between Jonah and Wes and you, Steven, is just that you're playing it on a base PS4. Obviously, if you played it on PS5, it would just be GOTY number 1
exactly.
easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess any final thoughts on God of War Ragnarok? Unless we end up looping back around.
No.
My number 1 pick is the loathsome dung eater. No, just kidding. It's
me too.
The other side of the fence, Elden Ring this year. Everybody and their mom said everything there is to say about Elden Ring at this point, but I think a big part of my enjoyment of this game was also similar to Infernax. During that same period of time where I was like by myself, living with friends while my wife was in a different state training, I was just in their guest room, my PC, no work, no obligations, just Elden Ring. And that game just swallowed me whole. And I think this game, in hindsight, now that I've had so much more time to think about it, has become like my desert island game, like my definitive like favorite game of all time ever. Like I just can't, like, I have not stopped playing this game. Like I've put probably close to 400 hours in this game by now, and it's playing it through on my own, playing it with my brothers on PC with mods, playing with seamless co-op. My brother has gotten into modding because of Elden Ring, and he started modding character models and armor sets into Elden Ring, like a Stormtrooper or Samus's various suits. So I'm just like, I'll just play through the game. I'll play another 5-10 hours just to like kill Radahn or kill Godric, just to run around as Samus inside of Elden Ring. And the other major
Skyrim
thing about
2,
this,
baby. Skyrim 2.
Yeah. It's just one of those games where you just go in and you just run around and do random crap, instead of actually doing the main quest. But the other thing that was major for me about this game was it was kind of like my wife's like, I'm a hardcore gamer now moment. Like,
yeah,
she just like, she's always been interested in the Souls games. She's like in love with their art direction, but she always gets to a point that she just can't get past in the games. Like, she can't even get through the high wall of Lothric in Dark Souls 3. She can't get past Father Gascoigne in Bloodborne, and she tries and tries and tries, and she just can't do it. But the genius of Elden Ring is that it is an open world and that you can do anything in any order, so that if you run into a wall, you just go off and you get stronger and you come back and crush the wall. And between like 2 playthroughs, she's put like over 200 hours in Elden Ring, which is just like the most insane thing for her that I've ever seen. Like before now, she's just played like, Magic Arena and Animal Crossing, and all of a sudden she's 200 plus hours deep into Elden Ring. It's like, what? So yeah, I just there's so many things about this game. Yeah.
I'll get back to it in a second, but one of the greatest things I would say about it is I think the map design is phenomenal. Not just the map design of just how it's laid out. I mean, literally, when you open the map, when you first get a map chunk, you only see what you where you are, and that is just the greatest idea ever. Rather than, you know, Breath of the Wild or you know, a Ubisoft game where it's like you see the tiny little section you're in and you see all this black of like, oh, that's how big the map is. How amazing is our game? It's just like, no, this is your world. And then just the world expands as you get more map chunks. And it's just like, that is such a great idea. And it's so simple in theory, but just no one done it. Yeah, it's just phenomenal. That idea. I just love that, and how it just keeps on blowing your mind. How big is this game getting? How big is this? Like, and I that's probably I've got a couple gripes with the game. I don't think it's a perfect game. I think because there's so much content in it that the DLC is already there. Like the Haligtree,
I mean, my first playthrough was 150
should be DLC.
Hours, so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in that way, because I do love replayable games. Like I literally just finished Dark Souls today. Just because I was just like, I just needed that little bit of nostalgia. I just needed that little taste. And so I replayed Dark Souls and Resident Evil, all those sort of games. For me, and I know that you're saying you are replaying it and replaying it. I walked back out there in New Game Plus and was like, I was like, I just want to get the new endings. And I'm like, but I have to kill this boss and this boss and this boss.
A little
I don't want to miss out on
overwhelming.
that. It's a little overwhelming for New Game Plus, even though people are like, it only takes you 3 hours or whatever in New Game Plus, or 10 hours, and then the third run is only 3 hours because you'll just go straight to the end and get the ending. I haven't done the extra endings because it's just a little too big and long for that New Game Plus. But I guess
my
one run was amazing.
But my counter to that is I haven't been replaying the game to finish it and get the alternate endings. It's literally just to make my own fun.
You've been Skyriming.
Yeah, I'm Skyriming.
So,
I don't know how much I would recommend literally trying to replay the game 3 times in a row to get all the other endings.
Yeah. But yeah, I just want you to shout out, because I think there's at least 6 10 out of 10 bosses. For me, it's still Margit. Margit's my number one. But like Radagon, absolutely amazing. I love that fight. What do you got?
I think the ones that just stick out the most in my memory is probably going to be Malekith, because
Jonah loved that fight. Jonah loved it.
Because I don't the build
remember
that I made for the
names.
game.
I don't know the names.
The Bloodblade. The Bloodblade at the end.
Okay, that was sick. That was sick.
I built this build with literally an unbreakable Great Shield build that you cannot, like, even bosses like Radagon hits me with his hammer and the shield. 0 stamina damage, so I could stand there all day with my shield. Just literally, I could like watch TV for 8 hours just holding the block button, and he'd never be able to kill me. But because Malekith, he hard counters my build, because when he hits you, you take damage over time from his black blade. So that was one of the few in-game fights where I had to, like, I did the meme where it's like I'm like leaning back and then all of a sudden I like engage and like sit forward. It's like, I gotta try.
Could what do you call it? I forget the name. It's like Peacock Dance or whatever it's called. Could Melania's move get through your shield?
So her moves would not get through my shield, so I could just stand there and block her all day too. So
and she would just heal, obviously.
Yes, even if you block, she heals. So she also countered my shield. Yeah. So
gotta get aggressive. That was the most Sekiro fight or Bloodborne fight of the game. Like, Malenia is just attack as fast as you can, because that's all it is. It's a DPS check. Like,
I guess as someone who typically just avoids Souls games, like, I've played some Soulsborne games in the past, and usually don't really click. But the fact that like with your wife, it's like I go to Margit and it's just hitting my head against the wall trying to beat this guy. Well, you know what? There's this whole other area that I haven't explored. I'll go there. I go down, I knock it out. Like, challenging, but not like I need to beat my head against the wall. Maybe the boss takes a couple tries. Come back, and now I'm able to fight him no problem. Like the progression that you can set for yourself for this game without having to grind is really what brought this up to GOTY for me. Taking a gameplay style and a narrative style that I don't like, don't vibe with,
giving you a samurai sword.
Yeah,
and another samurai
sword. Just not even that, just like letting me build a character the way I want, and then
you felt the role play.
I got to feel the role play. I got to just plus, experiment with stuff.
Plus, Horaloo took his top off for you and everything.
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
bared his breast for you. The last thing I really want to say about this game is just to praise the world design. I do think, in my opinion, it's the greatest open world ever made. I'm trying to think of like an example of like Breath of the Wild where, you know, you crest that hill or you crest that mountain, you see something for the first time beyond it. Like when you go to the desert and you see like the statues, like the 7
it's probably when you
statues, and
when you leave the plateau.
Yeah, that too. And Elden Ring, it's like every time you turn a corner, it's that. Like, I can't believe the amount of artistry and unique set pieces that are in this game. Like, it just blows my mind.
I don't think anyone in their right mind went down the elevator and saw the Chauffeur of River and went, oh, this is nothing. This is mid. Like, it was phenomenal.
In my opinion, is like the moment of gaming in 2022. Like, going down that elevator and you're like, whoa, what is, an underground dungeon? And then you go a little further and you're like, wait, there's more to this than I thought. And then you go a little further and you're like, oh, there's an actual whole other overworld map underneath the overworld map. Like, it's just crazy. So Elden Ring.
That's it.
GOTY.
Yep. That's it. That's the
GOTY. Steven, is your number one something different than Elden Ring?
No, I put my hand up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both,
Jonah.
Both of us put our hands up for me too.
That up pretty nicely.
I feel like I should chime in here just really quickly because I think Elden Ring is awesome. I think it's an amazing game, and obviously it didn't make my top 5. It didn't make my top 5 because I didn't finish it. And I feel like that says something.
You didn't finish it either. Did you finish it, Steven?
At least you got to the end, Jonah. Like you were literally at the last boss.
Oh yeah, I just couldn't beat the last boss, and somebody told me that there's like a super cheese way to beat the final boss, but I was like,
really? I burned out on the game. That was my thing. And
I understand that. I almost did too. A couple times.
I kind of felt bad about elevating it to the point where I feel like I burned out on it. I felt like it was, I don't want to say it was bloated because there was a lot of great content there, but it was just so much, and I got tired. I put like 65 hours into the game, and I just was like, I'm tired of playing this game.
That's why I say that it feels like it's already got the DLC. It could have been a 50-hour journey complete, and then they could have released like Haligtree and even a few of the other secret bosses and stuff later on.
They're like, wait, what if we just?
And they probably would have had Miquella like in the DLC, like because hopefully we'll get that sort of stuff. But like it just. It is big. It's so big, and I just feel like that's one of my only criticisms is its length.
I didn't even go to Melania's area. Like I don't have it touched at all. I understand it's so really
good
cool.
And bad. I love it.
I was like, I'm not. I'm done.
As you're saying, Les.
So I also feel like for me personally, it wasn't as interesting, like in terms of it didn't have the draw for me as some of the other FromSoft games. Like I felt like Bloodborne had more of an identity. Like I think the identity of Elden Ring is its world, right? It's open world, the fact you can go anywhere and do anything. But it also feels so similar in so many ways to the Souls series overall.
I mean,
that it was
a lot of motifs carry over, but like
it just was slightly less compelling in that way for me. But still an amazing game. It's something that I was just telling Caden on our break that I'm planning on going back to the game and finishing the game like probably as soon as I finish God of War. And I'm gonna RP as Caden to finish the game with his Monster Hunter build, with his great shield and his lance.
Yeah, nice.
So,
but yeah, sorry to go on what you said. I would agree that I care the least about the lore. I like the world building. I love the most. I care the least about the lore of Elden Ring that I do about all the rest of the Souls series. I love, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, like lore so much more, and Bloodborne and all that sort of stuff. Because I'll watch the Vardy videos all day long. No dramas. The Elden Ring ones, I liked it for a little bit. I was really enjoying it. I like whenever people discover new secrets. But the lore videos themselves, I'm like, I don't know, I don't care. Like, I like the idea of the Night of the Black Knives and stuff like that, but almost all the rest of it, I don't really care. So for me, it's gameplay. It's just the gameplay itself and the world.
Yeah, which is the most important thing, of course.
Bloodhound Step is why it's game of the year.
Step. It's been nerfed.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gone back to play the game anymore.
Rivers of Blood.
Yeah, so many cheese strats of the early days. Hoarfrost Stomp, easy mode. But yeah, I got off what you said, Wes. I mean, as much as I love the game, I would be insanely excited if they took the design philosophy of Elden Ring, making another massive open world, and brought a different aesthetic to it, like the Gothic of Bloodborne, or like, feudal Japanese mythology, would probably be way more hype than dark medieval fantasy. So here's hoping, I think at this point we're probably just going to get an Elden Ring 2 because it's been so successful, but it would be really cool if we got spiritual successor to Elden Ring that's not Elden Ring. But we'll see.
Now it's going to be called Armored Ring.
Yeah. Oh man.
God, that sounds so bad.
Yeah, I know. It really does. It's like it's like a chastity belt, but it's only for like a LGBTQ,
Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Well, surprising no one, our top games are God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring, and my wife is calling me, so let's take a quick break. All right, I don't think we really have time to discuss, but just to pay lip service, we'll quickly do our honorable mentions. Steven, if you'd like to kick that off for us.
Yes. So the missing out, and unfortunately missed entire of our list, so I feel bad for it, is Plague Tale Requiem got my number 6. It was in my number 5, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Tinykin because I thought maybe Plague Tale might show up. It's a good game. It's in that 8 range. Great music, good story, very emotional ending. It's not my personal style of game. I'm not a big stealth dude. So yeah, but that's my big one. And then wrapping up my top 10, Immortality at number 10, Vampire Survivors at number 9. It's very hard to rank Vampire Survivors. Number 8, Kirby Forgotten Lands. It could be number 5. It's that good. Like it's just a personal preference thing. And Blossom Tales 2 at my number 7.
Oh, I was going to play that too. Nice.
Yep.
Gianna, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I had that Metroidvania hack. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that was the one that got kicked off my list just because there were
the memes.
There were more things that I enjoyed playing, and not that I'm dislike it, but I had definitely enjoyed Fortnite as a battle royale more than I've enjoyed Warzone 2. And I mean, campaign was alright, but multiplayer's where it's at, and that's not an interesting an interesting thing to listen to anybody talk about for quite a while. So yeah, there's that. And then I had Stray on there. I didn't play too many games this year, so yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Wes.
Yeah, I think the biggest omission on my list is clearly Plague Tale Requiem.
Yeah. I was surprised actually.
Well, the thing is, I only played 2 chapters of it. I've been really, really busy this year, and I haven't had as much game time as I would have liked. And God of War was coming up, and I really didn't want to be spoiled on God of War. So, unfortunately, Plague Tale Requiem kind of got the back seat. I'm going to be going back to it right as soon as probably after I wrap up that platinum, hopefully tonight. And I can't wait to go back and finish it up. My guess is that'll be number 3 or number 2. It probably would have been number 3 or number 2 on my list. If I had actually gotten to play through it. So, but I can't wait to actually play through it because I love Plague Tale. It's great, and I really enjoyed the first 2 chapters of the game that I played.
Sweet, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I did finish that as well. It is also one of my honorable mentions. I have some problems and nitpicks with it, but the story and the performance is really good. Since I haven't played Ragnarok, the actress Charlotte something who plays Amicia was my Game of the Awards pick for best performance.
My one spoiler of the game is, what is this, a Naughty Dog game?
Yeah, pretty much. My honorable mentions are Rogue Legacy 2. Almost put that. It probably would have been my number 5 if I hadn't started Chained Echoes, which I guess tells you how much I like Chained Echoes. Only playing half of Chained Echoes, I'm more hyped on it than beating Rogue Legacy 2. But Rogue Legacy 2 is still amazing. It's just that, it's that 20-piece chicken nuggets from McDonald's or whatever. It's just so good. Love it. Throw on a podcast, play it for 8 hours.
Can we upgrade that to tenders, or is it only chicken nuggets?
I don't think they got tenders in Mickey D's. But yeah, so I did really enjoy Rogue Legacy. So much content on that bone to go back to as well. And my other is Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which really I think deserves to be on my top 5 GOTY, but it's an expansion. It's more of Rise. I don't think hearing me talk about Sunbreak is going to convince anyone who hasn't bought Rise to buy Rise, but
play it for the cat submarines.
Yeah, exactly. In a way, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is also a 20-piece of chicken nuggets for me. I just grind out, kill a monster in 5 minutes, kill, just listening to hours of podcasts. It's just a great time. And shout out to this indie game. I've only played a few hours of it. I haven't beat it yet, but I imagine I'm going to love it a lot when I beat it. But it's called Symphony of War. It's basically indie Fire Emblem, but with way more depth to it. And it seems super crunchy, and I'm really into it. So yeah, those are my honorable.
And I just want to say, I'm sorry to Pentiment. I really wanted to get to you by the end of the year. It didn't happen.
Only heard good things. Yeah. Another one I could easily see being on our GOTY list if any of us played it. Cool. So that's our GOTY list. I guess we'll go around and do final thoughts. Before we get to final thoughts,
we have a game.
We have a game.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
So we're going to be playing the dumb video game name game. Try saying that 10 times fast. So I have a list here of video game characters with dumb names. And I need you to tell me, is this a real video game character or a fake video game character? And we'll be keeping score. So,
all right.
Starting off, Sheriff Donald Respect from Call of Juarez. Is that a real or fake character?
Oh, that sounds real, surely. That sounds really dumb. Fake. Yeah.
Jonah?
I've played those games.
Jonah, we're running long. Hurry up.
I think it's real.
It's fake.
It's a good one. It's a good fake out.
Caden, you said fake, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next one. Red Crimson from Grandia 3. Real or fake?
Oh my god, that's so dumb again.
JRPG, yeah.
Let's go real.
Real.
I'll go real. Yeah, I could see it in a JRPG.
That's fake.
Really?
Red
no
Crimson.
No Red Crimson. Pizza Pasta from Punch Out.
There's no way. Fake.
Now I'm gonna say fake, and it's gonna be real. It'll be from the Wii one.
You know what? Real.
Pizza Pasta.
That is real. That is from Punch Out Arcade.
Oh wow!
Just with a double fake out.
I got the pizza pasta.
All right. From Far Cry 5, Doobie High Time. Is Doobie High Time a real or fake character?
I have. I haven't played Far Cry 5. I thought.
I'm gonna say real. There were so many stupid characters in that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say fake. I don't know.
It's fake.
Yay! I got a point.
All right, everybody's got 1 point. so far. Duff McWhalen from Mega Man X5.
I don't know why that sounds real. I'll have to go real on that one.
Yeah, I'll say real.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah.
You guys all say real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yes.
Duff McWhalen is a
Go tied up,
character
though.
in Mega Man X5, one of the bosses.
A boss.
From Guilty Gear, that man. Is there
That's gotta be. That's gotta be real. It's too. It's way too.
I'll say
dumb.
fake.
It's like mocap from Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
I'll say fake.
It's real.
Oh, nice job,
That
Steven.
man.
All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sorry, who said
Never,
real?
never doubt that
Steven?
man.
Just Steven.
Okay, thank you. From Yakuza 4, the Panty Purloiner.
Oh, that's gotta be
man.
real.
Oh, that's gotta be real.
That's gotta be real.
Surely.
That sounds
I'm gonna say
so
real just because I
Yakuza.
know about the side quest, but hopefully
I
it's
just
not
remember the gyrating guy in Yakuza 0 wearing just like undies. It's gotta be real, surely.
That's fake. There is no.
Ah!
It seems so plausible.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
does, right? All right. Henry Cooldown from No More Heroes.
Oh yeah, real.
No, fake.
It's a No More Heroes game, so yeah, I'll go real. Whatever.
Henry Cooldown is real.
What? There's a
Yeah,
character called Travis Touchdown and a different character called Henry Cooldown in the same game. What the hell?
Jonah and Steven, you both got that, right?
Yeah.
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 Oh man.
I'm surprised
Mr.
Caden
Strike-
didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Afro Thunder from Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Ooh.
There have been too many real in a row. I'm gonna say fake on this one.
That might be like a fake out because I feel like I reckon Ready to Rumble Boxing has like a guy with an afro on the cover, but I'll say real.
I'm gonna say fake.
It's real.
Oh!
I can't believe it.
Afro Thunder is a real character, and he is the guy on the box that you remember, Steven.
Yeah.
All right. Garcia Hotspur from Shadows of the Damned.
This one has to be
Yeah.
fake, right?
Fake. Just because it's
That's-
been a while. I don't know.
That's real.
Garcia Hotspur is real.
Yeah.
Oh
Nice.
man.
I remember his name being Garcia. I just couldn't remember what his last name was. I didn't know if Wes was throwing a fastball or not.
All right. From Command and Conquer, General Emancipator.
Fake.
I don't know.
I've had so many failed fakes. I gotta stick to my guns
Yeah.
until I get one. So fake.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go real then. I don't know.
Jonah, what did you say?
I said fake.
It's fake.
Finally, it paid off.
Yep. All right. Edge Maverick from Star Ocean.
Oh wow.
That sounds
Wow.
real.
Yeah, that sounds
real.
too real. Too
Fake.
real.
Did you all say?
Fake.
Real.
Real.
Hayden? It's real.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Is that from the
Oh
newest?
my god.
The newest one?
No, I think he's from Star Ocean: The Last Hope.
Gotcha.
I wonder if he has a mysterious background.
What a dumbass name, Edge Maverick. Damn.
All right. Shoot Gunner from Metal Gear.
No way. Please tell me this isn't some obscure lore I don't know about.
I'm gonna say
fake.
real because I'm pretty sure that's like one of the random generated names for MGS5.
Oh no.
Oh really? Oh wow.
What do you think, Steven?
I said fake.
Okay.
Shoot Gunner is real.
No, I'm a fake fan. Who's
That's
Shoot
funny.
Gunner?
He's one of the bosses in the original
That's
Metal Gear.
funny.
Oh, I was
haven't
completely
played the
wrong.
original. They have dumb
Wow.
names. There's like a guy called
I-
like Flamethrower Boy or something. Like
I just love like, everyone considers Kojima an auteur, and then he's just got this on the nose shit just everywhere in his
Yeah.
games.
Die Hardman.
Yeah. Singe the Burned from Dragon Age 2.
Whoa.
Wow.
That
That sounds
are real.
real enough. That sounds
I'm
real
gonna-
enough.
I'm gonna say real just because people hate that game compared to the other ones, so that's why.
So sorry, you all said real?
Yeah.
Real,
guess
yeah.
so.
It's fake.
Nice. That's a good fake one for an RPG. That's
Yeah.
good.
Singe the bird.
All right.
I do a quest to Singe the Band.
Mhm.
From Grand Theft Auto 4, Wank the Cat.
Wow, that
Wank.
has to be fair. Come on now.
Real.
But wait, it's GTA 4. They would do it.
Yeah, it is GTA 4, and
Real.
like they were the most subtle with like the joke. So it's like a cat, you probably won't even see it. So I'd say real.
Yeah, I'll stick to my guns. That's so big.
It's fake.
Oh, nice.
All right. From Tales of Hearts, Blessing Zigcroft.
It's gotta be real.
Wow.
Fake.
I'll say fake. I don't know.
It's
Random guess.
fake.
Yeah.
Tales of Hearts. I didn't even
Like-
know that one existed.
Yeah.
Like a mobile game.
No, I don't think so. It's a real one.
Yeah, the little ones are real. I mean, I agree. They are not real.
Mobile games
sorry.
aren't real games.
All right. From Parasite Eve, Hans Clamp.
Real.
Yeah, real. It's been a while since we had a real, I think.
I'll take the fake.
Hans Clamp is real.
Damn.
Nice. Get the old
Okay.
German clamp out of here.
Mhm.
All right. From Saints Row,
Oh.
Dollar Bill.
Yes.
Please
Real.
be-
Real.
Please
Real.
be real. Please
Yeah,
be
it's
That
gotta
real.
is
be real.
1,000% a Saints Row name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dollar Bill is fake.
What?
Oh, nice!
So good, Wes.
Wow.
Wes needs to go
shout out
right
to
for
Creed.
Saints Row.
Mhm.
Shout out to Wu-Tang Clan, though.
Yep.
All right. A few more here. Jeffrey McWild from Virtua Fighter. Jeffrey
Sounds
McWild.
real. I don't know. Sounds
Fake.
real.
Sounds pretty normal. Yeah,
Fake.
pretty real. I don't know.
Jeffrey McWild is real.
I have no idea what the score is at this point.
It's just like that. I love that that old baseball game, Japanese baseball game, where they just made up like westernized names,
Oh,
and they're just
yeah.
like almost western names. That's what that sounds like.
All right. From Borderlands, Tannen Big Shot.
That's real.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
that
that,
sounds
so I'll
real
say
enough.
fake since I played it. So I'll say fake.
What'd you say, Steven?
Sounds real enough, yeah.
It's fake.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Oh, man.
Sounds like an old sniper that like sits up on in like
Yeah.
someone's shack. You know? Yeah.
Talking to him through a door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick Gumshoe from Ace Attorney.
Yeah. That's real.
Real.
That's real. I know that one.
Just for the variety, I'll say fake.
It's real.
Man, that is a great name.
He's the Lestrade. If anyone knows their Sherlock sort of style, he's like the he's like the foil cop. Yeah, it's good.
Gotcha.
All right. Another Metal Gear one, Bloody Brad.
Fake.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fake.
I'm
Peyton's
pretty sure
worried.
it's fake. Please
Bloody
be fake.
Bloody Brad is real.
Wow,
How?
it sounds so bad.
What game is it from?
The first game, Metal Gear.
Again,
Wow.
I guess I need to play that one.
All right. Sander Silvertongue from Fable 2.
Real.
No idea.
That sounds real enough, doesn't
I'll
it?
say fake.
I'll say fake.
Sander Silvertongue is fake.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, we're running a tight game here. 3 more. Dr. Crabblesnitch from Bully.
I
Fake.
think that's real.
I'll say real. I have no idea though.
Dr. Crabblesnitch is real.
Nice.
Nice.
Making me go back to my 360 days.
Apparently.
All right, from Agents of Mayhem, a game that everybody knows really well.
Hey,
Rock Fortitude.
I love the
Yeah,
name.
that's
Let's go
got-
real. I love
Surely
it.
real.
Fake.
It's gonna be my next D&D character, Rock Fortitude.
Yeah.
Rock Fortitude is fake.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's such a
I was
good
gonna
name.
say it was like voiced by Terry Crews.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one is from Mass Effect 2, Admiral Zaal Corvus Vas Quib Quib.
From what?
I mean,
Real.
It's an alien string of random sounds.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah, real.
Okay, I'll take the fake on this one.
It's real.
Damn. Make quib.
And the winner is...
And the winner is Jonah with 13 points, followed by a tie for
Hell
third,
yeah.
I guess.
We got a
Kate
tie?
and Steven both got 10.
Holy crap.
Nice
All
job.
right. Thanks for the game, Wes, as always. My favorite part of the show. A real pleasure. So before, when I said it was the end of the podcast, I was just faking you out, just like Tunic does with its fake ending, and Signalis also does with its fake ending. So it was all part of the plan.
Wait, Signalis has a fake ending?
We've reached the true ending. We've reached the true ending of the podcast. To get the ultra true ending, though, you'll have to decode the audio codec of the podcast episode to get a waveform, which will spell out a URL to the ultra real ending. But
and then you need to take that, like, share, and subscribe that link,
Exactly.
and then
yeah, and then a bot account on Twitter will send you the real ultra true ending. But until then, we've made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations, fellas! It's been an honor. Another year in the books. Before we do final thoughts, Wes, do you have any news or announcements you'd like to make?
Yeah, I do have a quick bit of news to share. This will be my last episode as a regular member of the podcast. I'm taking the decision to kind of step away from the show. I've got a lot going on in my life right now, and it's been an amazing 2 years doing this show with you guys, and I am so proud of everything that we've done here, not only with the podcast, but with the Discord as well. You know, the community that we've developed, and you know, the good times that we've had, and just kind of the positive you know, atmosphere that we've created with everything that we do, and it's been amazing. But I'm finding it difficult to keep up with the demands of everything in my life, and I'm having to trim some things back. And I just kind of made the decision that, you know, I think that I need to step away for a bit. And I'm leaving the podcast in the best of hands possible. I really hope that you guys carry on, and I can't wait to see what you do with this show and where you take it from here. And I'm going to be listening every week, and you never know, I might, you know, make a return guest appearance at some point or something like that. But you won't be hearing me every other week anymore on the show, and that makes me sad. But I feel like it's kind of a necessary thing for me personally. So
yeah, well, we love you, dude. We're all brothers here. You're part of the family, and of course, we'll be keeping in touch outside the podcast, because the podcast isn't our entire life. But
and if anybody still wants to stay in contact with Wes, he's still going to be part of the Discord. He's not leaving the Discord, and you can chat with him about games and stuff there. So yeah,
definitely, hit me up. I'll be there for sure. But thank you guys for 2 amazing years on this show.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, man, couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, we and like for all of our viewers, like we would never have had all of the guests that we've had without Wes's like just absolute dogged perseverance. Like he has chased down all of our leads to get these amazing guests that we've had. So yeah, it's massive thank you to Wes. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, on a lighter note, we'll move on to our quick final thoughts. Jonah, you got anything? Last chance for final thought of the end of the entire year of gaming.
Sonic Frontiers absolutely got robbed at the Game Awards.
Game of the year.
Game of the year, easily. But yeah, Wes, it was awesome doing at least this leg of the journey with you, man. I'm really excited for what you got coming up next in your life. And yeah, this is our final show of the year. And we'll see you guys in 2023.
Sweet. Wes, final thoughts.
Yeah, my final thought is, if you're having severe back pain or extreme problems with arthritis, there's a really good extra grade painkiller from Bayer that you could pick up, and it'll really do wonders for your sciatica. So take it from your friend, old pal Wes.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you're experiencing back pain, you may have played the Super Nintendo.
I definitely did that. A lot of that.
Final thoughts, Steven?
No, just 2023. Can indies get even better? That's
When Silksong releases, the answer is yes.
Then it will be better. Yeah. I guess my final thoughts, echoing Steven on the flip side, is I think 2023 is going to be the year of the AAA game. It's going to be insane. But
Zelda.
And as always, happy gaming. Bye.
Bye.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Mist-Riven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MISTRIVEN719 or on Bandcamp at Mist-Riven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.